Hey everyone, today we're doing a video about a warrior-mage. This build is kind of a weird combination, well maybe not that weird, but a little weird combination of the Arcanist and the soldier. So let's just jump right into the skills. We are using Callidor's Tempest as our main bomb, and the build is going to sort of rely on cooldown reduction a little bit. So have it with my offhand and with my helmet, and we're going to be using it to have the larger Callidor's Tempest, that is the Wrath of Agravax version, to basically explode things really big. And yeah, that's our main ability on the Arcana side we put points into, and we put points into Inner Focus. We also put points into my Event Sphere of Protection. Maxing these three abilities out gives us our like big burst of damage, one of our big bursts of damage, and our one of the core abilities we're using for defense, because we are going to be in melee for this. One pointers across the Arcanist are Iskander's Elemental, Exchange, and Overload. Inferno gets 2 points, and I think it's 2 points, and Electra's Flash Freeze, Absolute Zero, and Arcane Will all also get 1 point. We are using Electra's Flash Freeze for the fire resistance reduction primarily, and that'll help us boost our Callidor's Tempest damage, but also our main attack damage. On the soldier side of things, I have Cadence almost maxed out. I think it's 2 points down. But Cadence with Discord is going to be our main attack, because something I wanted to do with a warrior mage character was have it be you're attacking next to your spell casting. And in this case, our main spell we're using is Callidor's Tempest. I mean, we also have Electra's Flash Freeze going on too. But, and I mean, my Event Sphere is technically also a spell cast. So I actually wanted to have it be more along the lines of you're swinging your weapon the entire time, and then you throw out your spells while you're working the enemy down. Discord is just to get that extra elemental damage on top of the elemental damage that Cadence will deal. And it actually results in Cadence dealing not bad damage when it bursts. I mean, I'm not gonna complain about that amount of damage it'll throw out when it procs. That, and I believe if we actually put Callidor's Tempest on there, we actually get a good view of what the damage of that is as well. But yeah, we're gonna have Blitz on our off. But otherwise, I maxed out Field Command more for its defensive ability than its offensive ability and the armor it provides. So it's I mean, the offensive ability is great, but it's about primarily defensive aura we have on. I also maxed out, not threw a point into, I maxed out Warcry because it's a 33 reduction to enemies' health, but also it reduces the damage of our enemies, of our enemies. Yeah, actually, of our enemies works there. So enemies have their damage and health reduced. I mean, that doesn't work against bosses, the reduction of health. I think the damage does, to some extent, damage reduction. So that's part of our survival as well. These two abilities plus my Event Sphere means we're pretty tanky. Also on top of our gear. So Fighting Spirit and Maynard's Will and Veterancy and Blitz and Fighting Form to give Cadence a little bit of an AoE are all our 1-pointers on the soldier side of things, and I do have Military Conditioning maxed out. I wanted a lot of health and physique because my attributes are kind of screwed up on this character. I went with a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio. 1-to-1-to-1, yeah. A 1-to-1-to-1 ratio, and I probably should have done 2-to-1 physique spirit, or 2-to-1-to-1 for physique cunning and spirit. Yeah, if I could redo this character's attributes, I would absolutely put more points into physique so I could take points out of military conditioning and maybe go all the way up to squad tactics, or at the very least get decorated soldier for the resistances, or even go with some Inferno action to make Inferno even more stronger. It warrants the bad English there. It needs to be more stronger. Not just stronger, more stronger. So that's our build on the skill side of things. On the gear side of things, our main weapon we want to get is a Soul Thief for its elemental damage and +1 or +2 to Callidor's Tempest, and I threw an enchanted flint in there because that's the elemental that Callidor's Tempest is, and it's also, you know, basically elemental damage for us to use. The Soul Steal ability on here is a nice addition, but I actually think it deals a little... Like, it doesn't deal enough damage to me. Like, it should just deal it should deal way more weapon damage. Or it should deal, like... I don't know, it's just not... I don't know, I'm just not blown away by Soul Steal, but it's a nice little addition. I'm running the 3 Herald's pieces because of the +1 to all skills, but also, it's a great set of defensive stats. So we got our 3 Herald pieces. I threw an Arcane Lens in the ward. I threw a Rigid Shell in the helmet, and I threw... Although that should really be a Runestone. But I think I pulled that off another character who didn't have a Runestone. Or I didn't have Runestones at the time. I threw a Hallowed Ground in the chest piece because of the elemental resistance. And +1 to Blitz and Field Command is pretty nice as well. The pants and the boots, I may switch to the Explorer set for that total speed 2-set bonus. But for now, it's Hermit's Leg Guards and the Warrior Greaves. The gloves are Harvest Grips. They're just gloves. I don't really have... Like, I could go with Inscribed Bracers, but I kind of wanted more defense out of my gloves. And the casting speed, and to me, the skill Disruption and Protection is kind of wasted a bit. Even though it's +2 to Callidor's Tempest. So really, I could go for any gloves there, ultimately, I think. Shoulder pads, we're using Mantle with Weeping Eye. Pretty obvious. Offhand is a Crushing Will. Not for its casting speed it usually has, but for that cooldown reduction we want. +1 the Iskandras is actually nice. Nice for us. The rings are just Rewari Wrath Seals. And the Aether damage helps our Callidor's Tempest, but the Elemental damage helps as well. But that also helps with our main attack. I also wanted to go with them because they have the Aether res and Elemental res. And having a lot of resistances is super helpful for this build. Warpath Girdle, even though the damages are wasted, the attack speed is nice to have. The crit damage is nice to have. And +1 to all soldier skills is just awesome. Ignore the Aether Soul here. I need to get another Attuned Lodestone or Arcane Spark for the Combat Medics mark I'm using. And Combat Medics mark is just a great all-round defensive, tankier metal to use, mostly because of field medicine, but its stats are pretty nice too. I'm also going to note that the 17% shield damage blocked is actually an okay thing to have here because we can use Elementium as an option. It's just we lose a lot of skill cooldown reduction. And if we go with Elementium, we could also throw on the Harvest Handguards because they'll also help us block a bit. And also I have Death's Pauldrons just floating around because, yeah, they're actually a pretty solid defensive shoulder. I just didn't really need more defensive abilities. More defensive stats. And then Haunt is our relic with +1 to Inferno. It's our Arcanist side of +1 to all skills. So I effectively have +2 to all skills thanks to my 3-piece set and these 2 items. I don't think there's any other notable components, no. So, I'm going to run the first part of Steps of Torment up to Zarthazellan. I'm not going to go fully into the Steps of Torment with this guy. We're just going to do this as a demo of his abilities. And we're here. So I wanted to make a warrior mage because of that archetype is sort of one of my favorites. I just really love the warrior mage the warrior mage concept. Just like it, I don't know why it appeals to me so much. I mean, I think it's that sort of like obvious let's cast spells next to our being a badass in combat type of thing. And it's sort of where I wanted to go with this build, as I said before. So we do kind of have a main rotation we want to go through, even though I just didn't do it there. It's ooh, a hero. Boom, 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 and that's like our big chunk of damage. Even though I think I missed a lot of what was over there. Because you can keep the enemy's health pretty low down there with Warcry. And you can also just destroy your enemies with, Callidor's Tempest. So popping Warcry first reduces their health by 33%, and then popping Electra's Flash Freeze jacks the damage you're gonna deal way up. Because of the resistance drop the enemy's going to experience. We also get to throw a lot of enemies around because, I mean, look, this guy's just... It's just a great ability to be able to knock guys down. They just can't do anything. And it works against a surprisingly large number of enemies. Like, it was working great against that guy. I'd probably say it's about the same amount of it's about the get out of my way. It's about the same amount of effectiveness that Electra's Flash Freeze has. And Electra's Flash Freeze should work against enemies that the Wrath of Agravix knockdown doesn't work against. So yeah, they're just gone. I mean, there's a second wave of skeletons, but that's fine. Because they're also gone. And this is why we need the cooldown reduction, because we want our three main abilities we're cycling through that aren't our main attack on a quick cooldown. It also helps having Blitz on a quick cooldown as well. So we are actually gonna group the enemies up. Now, our defensive abilities are actually kind of great. Between Bloodthirster and Mir Viraktes, we'll be able to tank really, really hard. I mean, we'll be able to tank really hard just without those up. But with all of these abilities we have, we're just actually really well... We are just a really well put together, like, amalgamation thing going on. Owie. We weren't there. That hurt quite a bit. Oh, I wanted to blitz out of there. So, yeah, I didn't want to be in the middle of that. Still, we are kind of on the weak side because we aren't using a shield. I want to get around. Oh, big asshole won't move. There we go. I actually wanted to get to this monstrosity. And then there's a warlock back here I want to kill. I actually want to kill most of the ads first, now I'm thinking about it. Because there's priests, and there are warlocks, and they're just a pain in the ass. This is going to be one of the sloppier fights I do. Okay. He's done. And we can just stand in all the aether dots around there. Get out of my way. So this area, I tend to run through here because it's like, I rarely, if ever, have a hero spawn out of this group. Or that group. So I usually just like eat and run on that treasure chest and go down here. Especially, I'm not really like working over reputation or trying to get experience right now, obviously. Oh, that was the proc off of Soul Thief. The Soul Steal ability, that like big wave attack. And like I said, I don't exactly know how effective it is. I'm also going to note that one of the most effective abilities we have is actually Warcry, because it's such a huge AoE, and it just like everything in this massive radius just is like, brr, and it's like great. It's just great to just hit lots of enemies, just for a good chunk of their health. Like 33% of the health is not insignificant. And no treasure trove. Now I'm not getting like the 25k cadence hits. I'm fine with that, because we're having fun being, you know, a warrior mage here. Like, that's what I really want to be with this guy, is, you know, warrior mage. I don't want to sit here. I don't really need to be, you know, Captain Cadence. Here's where that, like, this is the one thing I don't regret about the cunning is well, okay, I just missed a whole bunch there. I was going to say I'm not missing as bad. But it's like, yeah, I still, or no, cunning doesn't affect that, does it? I don't remember. I'll have to actually look. Yeah, just the whole screen just got 33% health gone. Which Callidor's Tempest had an AoE that could match that. I mean, how stupid would that be? Hopefully that's what we get. Hopefully that's what we'll get out of our out of the legendary items. Just Callidor's Tempest hits the whole screen. Or in Wrath of Agravax mode, it hits the whole screen. That's what I wish Wrath of Agravax actually did. Okay, I'll stop and fight all you guys. Excuse me. Excuse me. It's like the death bolt archers are my like main concern. I did those in the reverse order, I think. I had to look at cunning real quick, because I thought it was... No, it's not. It has nothing to do with accuracy. What the hell was I talking about? It's offensive ability, that's all your accuracy. Okay, now here's something key we have to do. We have to come over here first, because if a priest spawns, that would just it's just gonna ruin my entire mood for today. That's a hell of a lot of damage I just took there. I'm just clicking through here and making sure me and Zarthazellan can be alone. Just you and me. You and me. So we're actually probably not going to move a lot during this, because, I mean, he has these fire dots that can be really painful, but... I mean, between like, Mirror of Arachtes and our potions and, like, our procs that heal us, it's just... Yeah, he's just done. Get the chest. Yeah, this guy actually hasn't gone that deeper in the Steps of Torment, but I think I'm going to save that for another day. So, thanks for watching, everyone. That was a warrior mage, a magus, I guess you would say, for a Pathfinder reference. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's kind of a, I know it's not the most efficient build, but it's a really fun build nonetheless, and it's part of my, it's like my favorite archetype for RPG classes is, you know, a warrior mage. So I think you did pretty good though. Anyways, thanks for watching again. I'm gonna mention that you can find me on Tumblr, Twitter, and I just started an Instagram at Wolf Overclocked, and also on Patreon. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time.